Hello friends, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with a special series of reviews. That's right, thanks to my friend Zach, I was able to get my hands on most of the first wave of Movie Sonic 3 figures, which includes Ivo Robotnik, Sonic the Hedgehog, ahem, I said Sonic the Hedgehog, stupid irregular shaped boxes. Tails, who he already opened, so he's gonna lie it down. And although unfortunately the store sold out of the Shadow figure, because of course they did, he did get the 2.5-inch Shadow figure. And also Heracross, because he knew that Heracross is my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. He happened to find one and thought of me, so this one was a gift. Thank you, Zach. Okay, so let us get some of these guys out of here and talk about them. I guess the first video will be about Tails, since this is the box that's already opened. Alright, so like I said, we are beginning this little review series with none other than Tails. The back of his blister card boasts 20 points of articulation, along with pictures of the other 3 figures in Wave 1. Guess they're saving Knuckles for the second wave. And his description is, pretty basic. Tails is Sonic's best bud, using his brains, tons of gadgets, and of course his 2 tails. He'll do everything he can for his friends. Pretty generic, but honestly, it does sum up Tails from the movies just as well as it does from the games. And, first we're going to zoom in a bit and take in this very detailed figure. Remember, the movie 3 figures are 5-inch scaled rather than 4-inch scaled, so there's lots of room to put all kinds of detailing in his fur texture. And if you look at his eyes, they have a similar gimmick that the Mario figures had, in that they are recessed and plastic's been put over them, so that he has this whole "I can follow you with my eyes when you turn me" gimmick. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing. As long as you don't have a phobia of inanimate objects staring at you. Going down, like, everything is pretty much intact. They even have the details of the laces on his shoes. Weird that the laces are the exact same color as the shoe, but you know what? I think that that's a detail that actually is accurate, I think. And he has 2 very big tails that come out his back. Now this is where things are going to get nuts, because we're going to break down articulation. That 20 points, that's an easy number to put on, but what does that actually look like when you mess with it? Well, he has a ball-jointed neck, so you get some expressive tilt as well as turn. You can even look up a little bit. His shoulders are not only on ratcheted universal joints, they're also on butterfly joints, so his arm can move forward and backwards while it's out. It, of course, can rotate, because that is a universal joint, and that's really impressive. He has an elbow that bends a full 90, and his wrist joint is not where the glove cuff meets the sleeve, it's actually here where the hand meets the glove cuff, and it's actually able to rotate and hinge. And then his fingers are hinged, so he can have his hands open like an agonizing gesture. They can be more like calm open for holding things, or you can crunch them up into a decentish looking fist. Not the most natural looking fist, but not bad. He doesn't have a waist joint, but he does have some universal hips. The only thing that they could use to improve his hip articulation is if he had that thing that some Figma joints do, where there's like an internal ball joint there that causes one leg to come down. But I think that would be asking a little too much, and he doesn't really need that. Knee gets a full 90, and the foot has a joint there that can, move around, and it offers ankle tilt. So, yeah, you can actually get your Tails figure to take a wide-footed stance, and those aren't ball joints. Those are actual ratcheted hinges dedicated to the old extreme leg splay that you got going on. Like, this figure can do some posing, man. And I haven't even gotten to his tails. These are some of the most unique tails I've ever seen. So when they connect to his back, there's a point of rotation like pretty much all Tails figures have. But then each one of the tails is on its own universal joint. So the tails can go all over the place. You can have them come around him. You can have them point up. You can have them point down. You can have them point. You can have them line up with each other. You can have them go opposite directions, like this for like helicopter flight poses, or like, or you can get completely lost in what's going where. You can have them both down by his side for idle stance. You can have him coming up behind his head. Although with them up like this, he will fall back because they are quite heavy. But yeah, like that is like in pure articulation breakdown, that is pretty darn awesome. This is easily the most heavily articulated Tails figure there is. And well, I would say that it's a whole new level, but Jakks Pacific has done figures with this insane level of articulation before, like their Breath of the Wild Link figure and the werewolf from Altered Beasts. I remember had similar articulation to this, but it's actually pretty cool to see this much attention to articulation given for a figure that's usually so cartoony. Like this is super into the adult collector market at this point. Of course, we are going to have to do a comparison with all the other Tails figures. First, let's talk about the only other Tails figure that's in this scale, the 9 from Sonic Boom, who is a little bit difficult to stand. There we go. So yeah, like, wow, that is quite the contrast in personality. So yeah, we have another character that's the same height as him. We can also compare the previous movie Tails figure, which is a 4-inch scaled figure, looking quite diminutive. And while we're doing out the 4-inch figures, we can also bring out proper universe Tails, who, you know, like, is pretty much our default. And, of course, the newer classic Tails. And, of course, something that nobody else will ever have. Well, okay, one other person will have. The Saturday Morning Tails figure. Yes, so, yeah, like, bring on the, Into the Sonicverse thing. Have all the different Tails. The only thing missing here is Boom Tails, and, his figure is just kind of, like, in an even smaller scale, so, yeah, I guess... Oh, you know what? Why not? There. I added Boom Tails. So now we have every continuity of Tails. Too bad they just didn't make Sails or Mangy in this scale. I'm not going to go digging up the 2.5-inch figures of them from my storage just for this group shot. But yeah, your cup runneth over for Tails figures. But like I said, this is, aside, technically speaking, 9 does have more points of articulation, but you have to throw the asterisk on him because most of those POA are for all the joints in his mechanical tails. Like, this guy has only the regular complements of limbs and plus his 2 tails, but his articulation count is higher, you know, for his body. And also, I do find that his joints work better. Like, he has, like this thing kind of had like the prototype design for how we're going to make these joints work, where everything looks kind of floaty. Like they work, but especially for his knees, there's limitation. This guy, he knows what's up. He understood the assignment, so he can get beyond the 90-degree bend without it looking like there's 2 cylinders connected by a Figma joint. And his legs, like, he has a knee bend on his legs that's just as good as his elbows. So yeah, this is peak. I'm wondering, now that we have this level of articulation for the movie version of the character, do you think that Jakks Pacific would make this insane level of articulation for and detail for you know, proper universe Tails, like one that wouldn't be beholden to this particular aesthetic? Who knows? I'd be excited to find out. But until then, I'm going to sign off for now. We'll see you in the next video where I review another one of these figures.